Hello and welcome to the first instalment of Off the Woodwork, a brand new weekly podcast discussing the ins and outs of the beautiful game. We'll be covering a variety of topics including the Premier League and Champions League, as well as exploring topics that are often overlooked by the mainstream media, such as youth, women's and lower league football. We'll also be tallying up a point system throughout the year of our weekly score predictions, as well as a couple of other bonuses here and there. But first off, I guess we should introduce ourselves. I'm Louis. I'm here to moderate these wannabe experts. We've got Joe and Ted, two of my fellow Leicester City supporters, alongside Ben, who unfortunately supports the mighty Sunderland.
Try and keep it a bit impartial.
But we're kicking off on an international break, unfortunately, so we thought we'd begin with a full table prediction for the best league in the world, the Premier League. Who wants to kick us off, boys?
I'll go first if you want.
Go on.
Well,
Ted,
I
go
said
on.
we'll take it by like dividends, like, you know, we'll like break it down. So
Yeah,
just
should
like,
go top four.
Top six, maybe.
Top six.
top
What-
six.
what's the way that we're delivering points for this, maybe?
What do we
Uh,
say?
Top
It was-
6, 2 points for every correct answer.
Yeah, the bottom three would be 2 points for correct
everybody
ones, and
else is
then
1
in the
point.
middle is 1
It's got
point.
harder to
middle
predict the
ground's
middle.
hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then, Ted. Kick us off.
I'll give you my top six. Champions gone for Man City. Second place Liverpool. Third place Chelsea. Fourth Spurs. And then Arsenal and Man U.
Unsurprisingly, I've not really gone with the same as Ted.
Here we go
Go on
already.
then.
This is the first.
How long's
of
that
many.
been? 2 minutes?
So I've gone
Not
City
even.
first as well.
Yeah.
I really can't see past City at all.
Nah, the quality.
Nah.
But then Chelsea second,
Oh, debatable.
Right, Liverpool off.
Liverpool third, and then I've actually gone with United fourth.
Wow.
Might be a
Oh
bit of
my
a surprising
God.
one, but we'll discuss that in a minute. Spurs fifth, Arsenal sixth, but Spurs and Arsenal was a bit of a throw up between the two of them, I think.
You reckon?
I
Me?
disagree, mate.
I've gone for City first. I mean, like we
Shock.
said, you know, everybody thinks City are
Yeah.
going to win it. It's sort of, you know, just common knowledge, really. Liverpool second. I think they'll slightly edge Chelsea, putting Chelsea in third. Fourth, I've gone for Arsenal. Right.
No.
Fourth, I've gone for
Crazy.
Arsenal. There, that's what you think. It's a bit of a.
We'll see.
It's a curveball, exactly. Emery's got on playing the right football. They'll beat the teams below them. They might struggle against the teams around them, but you like sort of like United and whatnot will lose to Crystal Palace. Like
yeah,
it's
true
one
stay.
of them.
True stay.
United are
Yeah.
inconsistent. Arsenal will beat the worst teams. I think they'll come fourth.
It's a shout.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe a toss up between them and Spurs, but I'll put Spurs fifth and United sixth.
Yeah, I've got City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, United. It's similar to Ted's, I think, but I think we've just swapped a couple of teams around. But
Why haven't you got Liverpool in second place, Ben? I just don't.
So
Why don't you just explain
I've
yourself?
got Chelsea second as well.
I mean, if you look at the Liverpool's run of games recently, they've not really been doing that
Mm.
great. I know they've had a difficult run of games, but I feel like, especially against Red Star, like they had a lot of their good players out, and like they didn't really look like anything. I know that's Champions League, so it's like a different game and that, but
What, Chelsea
I
drew
feel-
0-0 to bait Borisov. Yeah, Belarus, the lowest ranked team in the Europa League.
Sarri's got a Europa League squad and a Premier League squad, and he alternates between the two. Whereas like Liverpool was still starting Van Dijk and Salah
Sturridge.
and Mane. Firmino's not scored in 10.
Yeah, but he
So
does a lot more
Subi
than
Sturridge
that.
has
He does a
got
lot more than that, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I really rate Firmino, but
So do I. I think if you look at the squads, though, first team for both teams, Liverpool, pretty much
but
every
look,
position.
If
If
Hazard,
you look
though-
at,
Look
if
at the
you
depth
look
of
at that
Chelsea.
Chelsea midfield, right, there is not a bad player. They
Yeah,
could bring
that's
Ruben
all.
Loftus-Cheek on, and that's like their
I rate-
worst player. That they could bring
I rate
in the
Liverpool's midfield, though, to be fair.
Mate,
Think-
get
They have
Carry on,
depth,
carry on.
sorry. Like on the bench, they have like Fabinho, Keita.
Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek,
Hmm,
yeah. Alongside
not
Jorginho
proven
and
winners, though, are
Kovacic.
they? I don't know.
Pedro.
Proven
Proven
winners.
winners. They
I-
will be.
I'd say the reason why I'm almost, well, not definitely counting Liverpool out for the league, but last year, like their driving force was like Salah. Like you knew that when they were having a game that was a bit like monotonous, like Salah was going to like
He'd
grab
pull
hold of it
through.
and sort out. And obviously, I'm not claiming he's a one
You're not
season
writing him
wonder
off.
or anything
Ooh.
like that, but I just like he's not going to be quite as good as he was last season. Or that's the impression that I'm getting.
He's
so
not been
far,
doing the
anyway.
business so far, so unless he
He's
picks
not-
No,
it
he
up.
started picking up now, though, isn't
That's
he?
what I'm saying,
Started,
unless he
like,
picks it up,
scoring
yeah.
consistently again.
But I do think
But maybe-
Chelsea. Sorry,
No, carry on,
Chelsea are
mate.
too reliant on Hazard, though. Like their strike force, Morata and Giroud. Like
Yeah.
Giroud scored
agree.
one goal in like
Sarri,
the
yeah.
whole season and the World Cup.
Morata
He
back
scored
3
one
and
goal.
2 now.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
but you can't rely on
Yeah.
you can't rely on
Yeah,
him all
Chel-
season. You know what I
Chelsea
mean?
would be a different team with an out-and-out number 9 that was
And
going
he
to score
cost
the
the back.
goals.
January's a big
Yeah,
one
Costa
though.
was quality.
January could be a big turning
I think a
point.
Cardi at Chelsea would be
That-
huge.
That's why I've
Yeah.
true.
True.
That's why I've put Chelsea second, because I feel like they're gonna
They're gonna
just
have a big
bring in a
window.
big striker and that's it.
But
Or
what
Chelsea-
if Hazard gets injured?
That's what I mean.
He's
really
the
is
most.
still a
He's the
ball.
most fouled player in the Premier League, right at this moment.
Mm.
You know, he's consistently being fouled. It's likely that at some point, surely he's going to get injured.
Do you not think that's that's the difference between City and Chelsea there, where De Bruyne gets injured, City just
City is
still
still
put
missing.
5 past teams, like whereas
Yeah.
Hazard gets injured, you can see like a slight step off the gas. It's not like they're going to lose, but it is just a slight difference in terms of class.
I think you can tell that Chelsea are a different side without Hazard.
The only thing I would say though is Sarri doesn't seem that bothered about resting him. Like when you say about injuries and that, it's like a lot of managers would be like Chelsea needs Hazard in this team, whereas like Sarri's more than happy to bench him and bring him on for the last 20, or like say you're only playing until. I mean, he was supposed to only be playing until 70 minutes the other day, but obviously they were still drawing at the time. But like
And they carried on letting him play.
Sarri seems to like know that he does need to like, even though he is dependent on him quite heavily, like not have him playing like all the time. So, but City, Chelsea, Liverpool, that's the top 3 in it for us really. Like
Yeah.
not necessarily in
Yeah.
that order, but we're going
But
for them
we-
3. And
Them
then the
three.
fourth
In
spot's up
fourth,
for
I put Spurs.
I've put United.
I put Arsenal.
Oh, I've put Spurs.
You see, everyone thinks Chelsea have had a really good season so far. Spurs are 1 point behind. It's their best start to like a top flight season.
Yeah,
I love
and then
Pochettino.
I don't.
yeah, and then they're moving into a new stadium.
What-
That's going to give them a lift.
What's I don't know though. Like,
Yeah, but
was Kane bagging like by this point last season? Was he top? He was top scorer.
No,
wasn't
he never used to score in August,
he's a
though,
slow
did he?
starter, isn't he?
He's always a slow starter. Gets into it.
I feel like without Eriksen, then Kane does struggle a little bit with. Well,
Yeah.
actually, no. To be fair, they've had Ali and Eriksen out at the minute.
Yeah,
so
they've done
that's,
well.
That's like the problem for Kane is like that's who he's getting his ball.
Spurs are more than capable. Kane is more than capable. When they come back and start playing again, I think they will pick up.
I think
Yeah.
of all the teams, Spurs is the team that I would like to see get top 4 because they've got a lot of English players. Like they've got Ali and they've got Kane, and like they're the kind of
Yeah.
players that you want to be
Cripps.
doing well. But
Yeah.
I just feel like Mourinho the last couple of weeks. I know they got done over by City at the weekend, but that was at City's
It was
gaff
an
without
awful
Pogba. But
performance.
I feel
It
like
was an
Mourinho
awful
is giving
performance.
off like old Mourinho vibes. Like I feel like he
Cup
kinda-
in the
Got his
ear in
swagger-
that.
Got his
Yeah.
swagger back.
he kind of like
Almost
he's-
believes in
yeah.
himself.
So I don't know how to put my finger on it, but it just feels like the old Mourinho's back a little bit. Like I can see them picking up more points. I can see them potentially beating teams that like you wouldn't be.
I
necessarily
just don't feel
expecting
like
them
they've
to
got the
beat.
quality, though.
I think without Pogba, they're a different
Like their
team.
defence, Smalling, Lindelof.
Lindelof's not a good player.
No, Smalling's got a
As nasty
mistake
as
in him.
possible.
Like De Gea hasn't been the same since the World Cup, I don't think.
I think it's hard when
I
you've
feel
got Chris
sorry for
Smalling
De
and
Gea.
Lindelof though. Like,
Yeah, I know.
it is.
If he played for
100%.
like Real Madrid or Atletico or someone, like they just wouldn't concede hardly any goals.
It's kind of mad when you look at that United team now because the senior member of that defence is Chris Smalling. No,
Yeah.
I think
Ashley
all
Young.
And like
all-
Antonio
yeah, well,
Valencia.
I mean, like the centre halves, but like Ashley Young, obviously, is a senior member. Chris Smalling as well. It's not.
They're just not.
Not the
they're
quality
just not
they need.
screaming like I
No, it's like-
think I can win the league with yous at
yeah,
defence.
like
I
Vincent
don't
Company
think
and
that's a-
Aspilicueta, they're all on a different level. Alderweireld, Vertonghen,
Totally.
way
And
back.
if you look back 10 years
Uruguay.
ago at United's players, the centre back partnership they had was Vidic and Ferdinand,
Mm.
and now it's Chris Smalling
this do-
and Lindelof.
It does worry me a bit considering that we're Leicester fans and we've got Harry Maguire, one of the best centre backs in the league, and they're
gotta
going to be
go
after
United, I think.
They're going to be after him.
They've got to be.
Yeah.
Speaking of Harry Maguire and speaking of Leicester, who I might have put 7th in my prediction of tables. What's everyone else thinking? 7 to 10ish, roughly. So just behind the top 6. What is
I've
everyone
gone for
think?
Wolves 7th.
I've got Everton 7.
I've got
Big
Everton
shout.
7.
I really like Marco Silva. Like
I
I think
do.
I think
Yeah, I
Marco
think he's
Silva
a class
really
manager.
knows what he's talking about. And I think what I like with Marco Silva as well is I think the transition that you could make from like a team that's all right to a team that's really good will be like pretty smooth. Like at the minute he seems to know that he needs to like not concede as well as score.
Mm.
But like I feel like
Same as every
if he made that jump up to like a really big team, like an attacking mentality would come out come through a lot more.
Yeah,
Than
he's-
I think he's doing well at Everton.
He's got the best
like,
out of some dodgy players as well. Like Michael Keane has not been good for them right the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Kurt Zuma was at Stoke. They got relegated. He didn't play well. And he's getting the best out of it, to be
I
fair.
mean,
Jordan
Richarlison's
Jordan
quality.
Pickford in goal as well.
Yeah, they got the foundations there, definitely. I really like Coleman
Yeah,
as well.
Anyone
Definitely.
give Silefka Jerson a little mention?
Silifka Jones.
Gylfi Sigurdsson does the business.
Yeah, he does do the
week in,
business.
week out.
I let him
Fair
off
play.
for that 30-yarder he scored
I
against
was gonna
Leicester.
say,
It was
away
quality
at the
goal.
King Power, and he
You
brought
want
that out.
a fantasy team player that's not that expensive and is
Yeah,
going to
get
do
him in.
bits. Get him in because I've had him in
But
the whole
also-
season. He's been unreal.
Would say Marko Arnautovic. He's quality, and I've got
Markovic is another ball.
West Ham in there as well.
Yeah, my next rundown from 7th to 17th. Everton, shout me up if you're very surprised of any of them.
So you got for Everton at 7.
Everton,
Yeah,
West
I'm backing
Ham,
that.
Leicester, Bournemouth, Watford, Wolves, Palace, Brighton, Burnley, Southampton, and then unfortunately I had to put Newcastle 17th because I couldn't fit him into my bottom three.
That sounds about right, to be fair. Yeah, I've tried to be unbiased.
Has
but
anyone got anything majorly different to that?
Mine's semi-different, to be
Go on.
fair. Okay, I've got Everton 7th, and then obviously following on from that, I've got Watford, Leicester, Bournemouth, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves, Burnley, Palace, Newcastle, Southampton.
You've all got West Ham quite low down. No West Ham in the top 10?
Yeah, I've got West Ham at 8th.
I've got them just outside.
Just outside. I've got them 11th, to be fair, but I do think they could
I've
pull it
got
off.
them in 12th.
They're just a bit unreliable, aren't they?
Felipe Anderson's a really, really good player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's coming
he
through
is.
as well.
It's a shame
now.
about Yarmolenko. He was doing quality and then he's out for the season. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
innit?
Yeah.
But I think if Felipe Anderson and Marko Arnautovic are
yeah.
both like playing well, then that should be alright,
Yeah.
man. Like,
What do we think to Bournemouth? Because I really like the idea of Eddie Howe being, well, might be jumping the gun a bit here, but Eddie Howe, England manager in a couple of years, would do
I
the
could definitely
business,
see- I
and
could
he's
definitely
class
see
for
it.
Bournemouth.
Definitely. I just worry about him like going to like a West Ham or Everton and it going really badly. That's the only thing.
I think that's too much of a sideways move now. Like, for the journey he's had with Bournemouth,
Yeah.
like he's taken them from like Championship, or was it even League One at one point? I don't
Weren't-
know. I don't know
weren't
if
they,
I'm
like,
correct here.
70 something in the this is definitely isn't a stat, but they were like
Yeah.
very far down in the whole of the football league.
That's what I'm saying.
So
So,
they-
like they were obviously so far down. He's like taken them from there to the Premier League, and now he's like, you know, at a point where if he moves to any team like your West Ham's, whatever, it's a sideways move.
Well,
Why
I've-
would he do that?
I think the only reason why a move to a West Ham or like Everton, Leicester,
Leicester.
that kind of team is that they have more money available to
Yeah,
them
it
than
is a
Bournemouth.
bigger
But
team.
he's got Bournemouth to a pretty well established Premier League team now.
Yeah.
Like I don't personally see them being in any sort of relegation battle, especially this season because
No,
of a
not
good
at
start. But like any time while Eddie Howe's there,
No.
really.
I mean, they lost the first 4 games of the league last season, didn't they? And then you
It
just
was-
never really thought that they were going to be in trouble. You just thought they'd just turn it around because they all seem on board. They were doing the right
Yeah, they've
things.
got some solid players in that team as well.
Callum
Like,
Wilson just got in the
Wilson
England
scoring
squad.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
He's deserved that.
Bournemouth in the 2012 to 2013 season came second in League One, so he joined them in League One, got
Yeah.
promoted,
Crazy.
That's
stuck
Yeah.
around the Championship, then came back up again.
Great
so,
journey that, to be fair.
I think there's the 3 teams after the top 6 is really like Everton, West, Leicester Ham. They're the 3 that should.
Wolves.
They're the yeah.
I put Wolves 7th. I think Wolves could do
I've
the
got
job.
Watford up there as well.
I think Watford had a really good start, but I could see Bournemouth doing better. I think Bournemouth will end up. There's normally that one team that like you're not really expecting
Fades
to do
away a
that
bit.
well, but they actually do end up
Yeah.
doing all right. I feel like Bournemouth might be that team, but Watford
Yeah.
are obviously up there as well.
Who have we got in the
I was gonna
relegation?
say
zone,
relegation
boys?
scrap. This is going to be a
I want to see
a
what you've
weird
got
one.
in here, Ben.
So I really wanted to put Newcastle in there, but I've gone Cardiff, Huddersfield, and Fulham because every time I've seen Cardiff play, I think they've been absolutely
got the-
poor.
yeah,
They
they ain't got
just
the
don't
quality.
they just don't have the
Got
players.
Callum
to do it,
Patterson
yeah.
up front. Like, no disrespect, but he's not going to get you like 25 goals a season or
No.
anything near that.
Then I think Huddersfield were like always looking like going down. Like, I thought they were going to go
Huddersfield
down last
really
season.
struggled to
So.
They
scored
didn't do
this
enough
year.
in the transfer window, I don't think.
And if Fulham don't bring a Sam Allardyce or someone like that in, then they're going to. No, but they need somebody just to stop them shipping goals more than anything.
Yeah, their defence, he just chops and changes
Yeah,
it
they've
all
got-
the time.
They've got
He's
the
used
poorest
to,
defensive
like,
record in the league as well. haven't
he
Yeah,
they?
changes
by
it all
far.
the time, like 3 different goalkeepers, like,
They're a minus 20 goal difference after 13 games.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
and they're
That's
like,
That is very
really bad.
yeah.
But
Very
I
poor.
feel like if you've got Mitro and Schürrle, like if you had somebody that was really
And Kearney, they've got quality.
if they kept somebody that stopped him from shipping goals, and then it was kind of like balls over the top to Mitro, like you
Mm.
could see that picking him up a couple of points.
That's why I put them to stay up.
Who else you got bottom 3 then?
So
Ted?
who's your bottom
Got-
3?
Cardiff, Huddersfield, I think we've probably all got them, but I got Southampton in there.
Wouldn't surprise me as well. To be fair,
They haven't got an out-and-out goal scorer. I think he's got goals in him, but I don't feel like Danny Ings, he's got injury problems.
What about
Charlie
Gabbiadini
Austin.
coming back?
Gabbiadini scored how many scored? 4 in 73.
mad. That was
4 in
all
73.
4 of them must come right at the beginning as well because he was bagging at first.
I
It
swear, at
felt
one
like he
point
was.
he found like some very good form.
When
I
he
think
just signed for
scored
them,
before the he scored and then he scored in the cup final against United or something like that.
Was that what
so-
it was?
he looked like a really good signing when
Is
he
that-
signed for them.
yeah.
He was bagging, but
It's a strange one for Southampton as well because they like a few seasons ago they were like Everton level
Yeah,
almost,
Poch and
like
that.
pushing for Euro. They got in the Euros, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
and,
crazy how much
and
it's
the
changed.
last 2 seasons they've just been floating in above
Yeah,
the relegation.
yeah.
Well, they've got Marcuse now, isn't they? And
He loves getting relegated.
table. Loves it.
Southampton are kind of like that Palace team though, where when they're in the bottom 3, you're looking at them saying like, "There's no way that they can get relegated because they've got too much class."
yeah, but you look at like West Brom, they were always down there and they always stayed up. And then I just feel like they're pushing their luck too much. Haven't got enough quality, and they got Mark Hughes, and I just can't see it going well.
Yeah.
I think your relegation's about the same.
Yeah, they are. They're in a slight different order. I've got Fulham to finish 18th, Huddersfield to finish 19th, and Cardiff to finish 20th.
Yeah, I don't know about I
just think Cardiff look poor.
Cardiff
They've got a couple of
poor,
wins.
yeah.
Do love
I
Sol
do
Bamba though.
think-
Bit of a Leicester legend.
Don't know about that handball against Vardy though.
Oh yeah. We're
Don't
We're not
know
going to talk
that.
about the yellow cards either, but
Nah.
Yeah.
we are going to keep these predictions. We're going to tally them all together, and we're going to at the end of the season come up and see who's got the most amount of points.
Well, I
Like we
suppose
said,
on like a
it's-
week by week basis, we can tally up the points. see
Yeah,
where we're
yeah,
at,
and we'll
like,
keep
take it
everyone
from there.
posted like termly almost on
Yeah,
who's
definitely.
doing well.
Yeah.
The other thing we thought we'd chat about, it is a big topic. We were talking about Kane not scoring in August, but he is picking form up. We've got Callum Wilson coming through. Who do you think's going to take that golden boot at the end of the season?
I don't think it's going to be Callum Wilson, but
Why not?
yeah, I just can't
You've
see
seen it before.
Yeah, but there's too many quality players in the Prem. Like,
Yeah.
I think outside the top 6, he could be top goal scorer.
Who's your big shout then, Ted?
I've gone for Aguero.
Yeah, I've gone for Aguero.
I
can't-
think it's rude not to go for.
I've gone
Aguero.
for
Have we all gone for Aguero?
I would have liked to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
for. I would have kind of liked to go for somebody else, but I just feel like City are going to score so many goals, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah,
n-
innit?
you can't stop him from scoring, and I mean Aguero loves to get himself on the score sheet.
Yeah,
so-
and I feel like he deserves a lot more recognition. Like, he's done it year in, year out. He's probably arguably the best striker in Premier League history, and
well, he's
he hadn't been into the team this season for the Premier League until last year. And that's just ridiculous.
outrageous.
He's City's top goal scorer now, isn't he? Like, of all time?
Of all time.
I'm not sure. Have a look.
Pretty sure he is.
It'd surprise me if he
He
wasn't.
must.
He
be.
must be really. He's
I'm-
been there since 2011.
Well,
he
he's
joined, I believe.
he's up there with all-time top goal scorers in the Prem, and he's a foreign player, which is quite impressive.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
does it. He's just someone you can always rely on.
And how about that goal in the derby as well?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's
Someone
he's
finished
30.
that.
He's 33 ahead of Eric Brook, who played from 1927 to 1940. So he's literally miles ahead of anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a quick look at the all-time Premier League top goal scorers as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely
maybe
having
it'll
a
be
look.
Sure.
Man City's first real legend.
I think Defoe might be the only other player.
Richard Dunn.
I think Defoe might be the only other player that's playing now that's scored more goals than him.
Is it?
That's playing now.
That's playing now in the Premier League.
Probably true.
That might
Obviously,
not be right.
Kane will be coming for him. but-
You're right. It's it's just come off. We've got all-time top goal scorers. Yeah, Jermaine Defoe's on 162. Aguero's on 151. He's gonna beat him.
That's
there,
this
but,
Yeah, we'll
season,
do that
really,
this
isn't it?
season.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would have liked to go for Hazard because I do think he's going to score a few goals, but he's not going to be. It's not going to be like Salah scoring goals because he creates it more than
Yeah,
a lot
definitely.
of things as well.
He's very influential, but I don't know if he's always going to be scoring them goals. Whereas with Aguero, you know City are going to score goals, and
Yeah.
the likelihood is that he's going to be in and amongst that. And if they're scoring like
They
4
scored.
goals like per
I-
game,
I was going to say they're averaging 3 per game.
They
at the
scored
minute.
43 goals this season. And that's
This
like,
season?
This season.
That's
In
crazy.
like,
how many
how many
games?
games is it? 13, 14?
13, 14,
So I mean,
pushing 3 goals.
Salah,
You know.
I can't see scoring the same amount of goals as he did last season. Kane, Spurs have been getting a lot of 1-0 so far, and they do seem to get some of their goals from other places as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then who else really is on the cards? Like Sterling
got-
scored a few, but Sterling's the kind of player that's creating more than he's scoring. He's just
Yeah.
picking up a few
We're
extra
going to jump
goals.
onto assist kings in a minute, but we've got the only other players in contention really on this list so far. You've got Martial, who's obviously
He's just hit a
bagging
good
them for
patch of
United,
form
but-
there. It's
I
like-
think he'll
and
score a
who-
few goals this season,
But
but
who
Yeah.
else is bagging for United?
Well,
like
not
Lukaku's
Lukaku.
not going to be top scorer. Let's face it.
Sanchez is not scoring. It's
Pogba.
United are going to make a signing in January as well. I'd
sad sight
imagine
at
they're going
United
to
at
they're
the
going to
minute,
need
They need to.
they're going to need a centre back and they're going to need a striker.
Griezmann. If they sign Griezmann, he'd be such a good signing.
Does
Yeah,
Griezmann
but I
wanna
think if
join that
Griezmann
team,
was
though?
Why
to
would he
leave
leave?
now, he'd go to Barca
Yeah,
because
but
Barca were interested in him and he wanted to go, but he only didn't leave because of the transfer embargo on
Yeah.
Atletico. So I couldn't see Griezmann going United.
Nah,
Because
I'd
imagine,
like him to.
imagine if he went in January and there's a gamble on them not even qualifying for the Champions League. So that's the only problem now is United have to think of players that will come to them and like
yeah,
Yeah,
they're not
'cause
the
they're
same attractive club that they were like 5 years ago. So
to
5
say a
years
player
ago, it's
wouldn't
more
come
like-
to United's pretty amazing. Like you'd think anybody would go to United, but there's more attractive clubs
you've
in
got
the
to
Premier
go for
League
someone
now.
like Icardi, like someone who isn't at a top club. Maybe we'll go
I
there.
think Icardi's
do a job.
destined to go to Chelsea.
Do you
Mate.
I
reckon?
think Icardi. I really want him to stay at Inter forever, but it's not. I don't
Why?
know. You know, I think he just the fans love him, and he's
Yeah.
captain.
No, the
already.
fans. I thought the fans
They-
hated him.
I don't think they mind him again now, but he said something about their ultras before, and they like turned on
Yeah,
him
yeah,
bad,
but he's been club captain for like 3 years or something. He's not. He's
They
not
should
that
love
old,
him,
is
man.
he?
He's going to be.
Yeah.
He's quality for the club.
I just think like it's the kind of player that Chelsea. To be fair though, they like to have a big guy, but I think it's the kind of player Sarri wants.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
We briefly mentioned Sterling earlier, and we said he's more of an assister than a goal scorer. But anyone else got any big assist shouts? Because I've got him top of mine
You got
for
Sterling.
assists. Yeah.
I've got Sterling.
I got De Bruyne.
Oof.
I've
Think
got
he's
Andy
gonna make that-
Robertson.
What?
No, you've not.
Yeah, I think he's on 5 so far this season, or 4 in all competitions or something.
I mean, he's in my fantasy team, but I wouldn't
Andy
be on top
Robertson.
of there.
Honestly, he's a baller.
I'm not denying he's a baller. At
So
all.
I
I
think
just don't know if he's going to get them assists.
So I think Sterling, he's kind of like,
3.
is he had 3? Yeah, all competitions.
Yeah, he's got
Oh,
5 in all
dunno, yeah.
competitions.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he picked up 2 the other day.
What about Ryan Fraser?
Ryan
He's
Fraser.
top.
He's
He's top
top.
at the
To be
minute.
fair.
Is he? He's top.
He's got
6
7.
assists.
Yeah, he
Or
bagged
is
a
it
double
6?
against
I
Leicester
mean,
early on the season. as well.
How many games is De Bruyne going to play?
That's what I mean. It's a risky one because he's injured quite a lot.
But
But
when he plays,
when he
he's
plays, City probably going to score a load of goals, and everything goes through him.
But it's just a case of whether everybody else is a couple too many steps ahead now.
Yeah, it's a risky one. I wasn't sure who to put, to be fair.
It's kind of a bit.
There's not like an obvious player.
Yeah,
No, I
there's
don't
never
think
going to
there
really
is.
be an obvious player because like what does actually make an assist and what
Yeah,
that's
like-
the reason why the award's only just been introduced recently is because it's a bit
I'd-
of a like is that an
Grey,
assist?
there's
like a
Yeah.
grey area there.
And the thing is as well, like it's one of them where I feel like this season, if City keep bagging like 5 a game, it's hard to deny it's going to be any City player because like
they're scoring.
Yeah.
they're
goals.
scoring so many. Someone's got to be setting them
It was
up.
between De Bruyne and Sane for me.
Yeah.
They're like really low odds.
The
at
thing
the
is, though, to me, Sterling plays more than Sane. With the introduction of Mahrez now,
minute. Yeah, Sterling's the first name on the
Sterling's
sheet.
the first name on the team sheet.
Can we not mention
wingers.
Mahrez, please? Like,
I
don't wanna
Still
think
a bit
about that.
touchy, innit?
I think Mahrez will score more than he'll assist for City. He seems to like
Mahrez
he's
is
cutting
quality.
onto his left. a lot
Yeah,
lately.
well,
it's quality.
What about the other end of the pitch with the gloves? Who are
Golden
we
glove.
saying?
Most clean sheets. I've gone for Edison.
I've gone for Allison.
Edison.
Allison.
Ooh,
Ah,
little
Me
split.
too.
I think Edison's a better keeper than Allison.
I think Edison's a better keeper than Allison. I'd rather have Edison in my team than
Yeah.
Allison.
I
But
thought we were gonna have an
I
argument
agree.
then, and you agree with me. What's that all
I
about?
know, yeah, I really do.
No,
This is
I,
not
I
very
agree with
normal.
you as well. I think Edison is the better goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I think Liverpool will keep more.
Van
clean
Dijk,
sheets.
Van Dijk is quality, and
It literally is
How many
down to
goals
that.
have they conceded since Van Dijk came in? Like very minimal.
yeah.
What's
But
uh,
Edison
many
has the
big-
most clean sheets this season so far. So
Yeah, he does.
but how many big games have Liverpool played recently? They've just had that horrible
Doesn't he have
run
the
of
same
games
as
where they're playing
Alisson?
a lot of big teams.
Oh no, yeah,
Mm.
they are both on 7. to
Are
be
both on
fair.
7 now?
Yeah.
What's
there
their goal
you
difference?
I'm
Who's
not
shit
too
more
sure.
goals? Who's had more
Yeah,
goals?
Man City will have
scored
higher
I'm
goal
not sure.
difference
It's-
'cause
I'm not going to the table up. But I'll
they
find it.
they've scored more Man City, but conceded more probably.
Conceded the same.
Have they?
So they literally bang on the same.
What are we saying about Chelsea as well? Because I think it'd be hard to just disregard Kepa, but like
Kepa's been sick.
he's
this
very,
season.
Yeah, he's
very
good.
good.
He's
But
really
it just
keeper.
the thing is as well with clean sheets, like with goal scorers, yeah, it's about who's assisting you. But with clean sheets, it's like
The whole
with De
defence.
Gea, you got to feel sorry for him because he's probably still the best keeper in the league. But like you can't.
He's definitely still the best.
He's
keeper
not.
in the
But
league.
like
In the world.
Best
he's not.
keeper in
He's
the
not.
world for me.
Do you think he's going to be in contention for clean sheets? No, because
No,
United
not
just
at all.
can't
Yeah.
keep the goals out. But that's really unfair on
So I
De
mean,
Gea because
United
he
need
is
to
still the
decide
best
whether
keeper.
they're going to spend money and be serious about being like a challenging club because they got De Gea and they got Pogba and they got some foundations there, but the players around them just aren't good
A
enough.
lackluster. But then if they do that, like if they spend this money, is Mourinho the right man to take them forward?
It's true. Do they get rid of him?
That's a
Get
big
That's a
topic.
Get
big
Zidane
topic
in.
for another time. I think
get
Yeah.
Zidane in, spend 200 mil, win Champions League, win the Premier Easy. Done. Sorted.
re-establish themselves as
They
the
should
best
get me
team
as,
in
like,
England and
Board of
then-
directors, get me in jail. I'll sort them out.
Good shout.
I think Mourinho could definitely be a topic coming up soon because I think if we
Yeah,
start
I
talking about
think
Mourinho,
there's so
we'll be
much to
for quite
talk
a while,
about,
do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. And then finally, just prediction wise, we've got a player of the year.
Hazard. Hazard's my favourite player, man, in the Premier League. He's
So
so
good to watch, isn't it?
I think it's just
So
watching
good.
him and his influence on like Chelsea's play is like what attracts so many people to him. Like you look at like players who are up there for like contention of the player of the year, and like they're all very good players. But it's like when you look at Hazard, it's what difference he makes on the pitch for Chelsea as opposed to like
But
You know,
that's
whatever it is.
kind of why Van Dijk was the other option in my mind for Player of the Year. I think Hazard
I think that's a
Yeah,
very
he's
big
made
shout.
so much difference at Liverpool defence.
because I
Mm.
can't see Aguero getting it. To be fair, I can't really see any City player getting it because they're all so good.
There's
I've
such
gone
a
for David Silva though.
Have you?
He's been
He's been
good
quality
this
this
season.
season.
He's another
Good,
fantasy team
yeah,
shout that if
he
you
is
want him
a-
in because he'd
Yeah.
be
And
banging.
Bernardo Silva as well. Bernardo Silva's cheap.
I
and he
rate
does-
Bernardo Silva.
he does job.
I've got Razza as player of the year, Sterling.
I was
but
thinking of.
it's like you said,
Yeah.
it's one of them where like because City plays so well as a team and they're all so
Yeah,
balanced.
it's a
they all
team,
pop
not
up.
Yeah.
not like
They
individuals.
score
isn't
a
it?
goal and it's like there's been 55 passes in it. So who's like the one that's been
Yeah,
the
you
good
can't
player there? Where it's
pinpoint
like
one
they're
player.
all pulling strings.
Salah
so-
grabs hold of the ball and he weaves in through like 6 players,
Yeah.
kills one in the top corner. You're like, oh right, okay, Salah created that goal, but Pep
Yeah.
created the goals more than
Yeah,
anything
but
for
it's
me.
one of them where like you can't like you can give the player of the year to someone else because you know that the team of the year is going to be literally stacked out with like 6 City players if
Yeah.
if they win it. That is.
Did
you see
Obviously,
the,
we're talking hindsight.
Combined United and City 11 going on ratings this season. Weren't one United player in that.
None.
Pogba would get into the City, but would he?
But would he?
Because
would
That's
he?
another topic.
De
Let's-
Bruyne, David Silva,
Bernardo-
Fernandinho.
Bernardo Silva gets a lot of game time for City. I think Pogba under Mourinho, under Guardiola would be crazy. Like Pogba and Rashford under Guardiola, I think would be like.
That's
And
what I mean. I
Martial.
think
And
what makes
Martial.
what makes a top manager is like improving the players you've got. I think people like Eddie Howe and people like Marcus Silva have definitely done that, but I don't think.
Pochettino.
Yeah, I don't think Mourinho's done that.
Have you seen a very easy one to talk about is Rashford? Have you ever since Rashford made his debut? Was it?
He scored against us.
Did he play against Arsenal? That's where he made his debut in the Champions League.
Yeah, he
He
did.
made his debut in the Champions League. Then the
Scored.
following weekend, he scored twice against Arsenal. I think I'm pretty sure that's correct. If not, it might be 2 in his debut and then 1 at Arsenal. Either way, since then that was under Van Gaal. I'm pretty sure. Has Rashford progressed as a player?
In
under
it, but I
Mourinho?
think he doesn't even really know what he's supposed to be. Well,
What's his best position?
but what has Mourinho really been? This 4-3-3 with like Martial and Rashford playing is like the first time that there seems to be like an actual direction with what Mourinho's doing. Like before, it was just kind of like these are the players that I feel like should be on the pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas like now that he's got this like front three that's like chopping and changing. Like the other day, Lingard was dropping in as a false 9, and then Rashford and Martial were on the wings like coming inside.
Yeah.
And then they'd swap round and Lingard had got wide and Rashford had played as like a number 9. So it seems like they've got more of this like Liverpool 4-3-3 going on compared to what they had before, which was just like, oh right, okay, Lukaku's playing, so
Yeah.
we'll just try and kick the ball towards him.
Well, if that's the case, then it's obviously it's promising. If that like that like Mourinho is trying things. However, they tried that in the game against City. They
It
got
didn't work.
absolutely whitewashed.
No,
It
they played
was-
Fellaini, and
It was a poor performance on their behalf. Like
the golfing class is just like massive, miles off them.
Yeah, City is stupid at the minute. City is.
They're ridiculous. No one could touch them in the league.
Liverpool beat City. Like if Liverpool had to beat City, like it's because of constant pressure on the break. Like whereas like City, I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time I watched City like play and they didn't just dominate the game.
Yeah.
Even if they don't end up winning, they just have the ball all the time and somebody
Yeah, they
scored
do.
on the break. Like City are the best team in the league at the minute. It's just they could be beaten and the other team could get more points than them if that makes sense.
It would have been massive as well if Mahrez had scored that penalty in the 85th minute away at Anfield
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
win,
Yeah.
and he skied it.
Yeah.
But that's football, innit? That's what makes it interesting.
They've-
Exactly.
City are the
Crazy
best.
start to the season.
I'm glad they didn't win. To be fair, I'm happy that game remained a draw.
Keeps it close at the
unbeaten.
minute.
The 3
Yeah.
teams unbeaten, first time ever in the top flight.
That's the thing with Sarri compared to the other two, though, is it's almost like surprising that they've managed to be unbeaten. That's why I wouldn't want to have Kepa as my goalkeeper of the year or my Golden Glove.
They have low expectations, don't they?
Well, they do still concede. Like, if anything, it is a little bit surprising that they're still
That
unbeaten
they're
because,
keeping
like,
up. Yeah.
Out of the 3, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the minute, I mean, Sarri's only been there, what, 11 games or something? So
Yeah.
you've got to give him a bit of time, don't you?
I think you got to give him a lot of credit
He's doing
for
well.
what he's done. He's done a cracking job from like now.
Yeah.
He seems to like change like players like Ross Barkley.
And I mean, everyone, Chelsea didn't seem to have the best, like, morale under Conte. Like, a lot of players
No,
seemed
it did
seem
seem
to
to
want to
lose the
get out.
players. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Courtois, the thought of him coming back to Real Madrid, like Courtois seemed like he hated it. So the fact that people like playing under Sarri's good.
So next up, we've got a couple of the Champions League predictions and the Europa League predictions. Well, like we said, the Europa League might be a little bit hard, so let's kick it off with the Champions League. Who do we think's going to do the business?
I think Barcelona.
You
That's
reckon
who I think.
Barca?
I reckon Juve looked strong, but when Man U went there, I don't know, they changed my mind.
I've gone Juve
Ooh,
just because it's one of them ones that I feels like just written in the stars.
Ronaldo v Messi.
Ronaldo
That
goes back and it's just Ronaldo goes Juve. It's just kind of like
Seems right that
do you
they
know what I
win.
mean? Like Juve have needed that special summit. Like the 2 times that they've been in the Champions League final, they've like been solid. but they haven't had like a Messi to grab it by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, do you know it'd be
Whereas,
a
like-
real kick in the teeth if Juve play PSG, Buffon playing for PSG, then
Yeah,
got beat by Juve to win the Champions League.
Yeah, Buffon literally picked the worst year to leave.
I don't know if PSG will even get through the group
I don't think
stages.
they will.
I don't think they will. I feel like both games I've watched them, they fall asleep really, really easy. And-
Yeah, that's something you notice with PSG though, because they can get away with it in
Yeah,
the,
they're not
in their
tested
league
enough in the
games.
league. In the Premier League, you can't get away with it.
You can have 10, 15-minute periods in Ligue 1 where you're not necessarily concentrating, you're just kind of keeping the ball between you.
Yeah,
And Neymar's doing a bit of skills or Mbappe's making a run. Whereas, like, if you're coming up against Liverpool, you can't go to sleep for 5 minutes because if you fall asleep for a minute, Salah's making a run in behind and he's through one-on-one with Buffon.
yeah, and that's where you can see silly goals.
And I mean, Liverpool and Napoli are probably two of the worst teams for PSG to have in their group because they've got that like rapidness on the wings that if they do fall asleep,
Yeah.
they've got the ability to get countered.
They're
on,
teams
so-
that like attacking as well. They're good attacking teams that will go forward.
Whereas I
so-
think if it was PSG, maybe like against United or Sevilla or something, someone that doesn't necessarily like really want to score loads of goals, they want to just edge it past you. I feel like PSG would maybe be
probably
more likely to
whitewash,
batter
like
them. Yeah.
United.
Would you like to hear the latest Sky Bet odds for who's odds on to win?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So we've got City 7-2 favourites.
I
Man
think it's
City-
pretty crazy, man. With no Champions League experience, I don't think you should ever be.
Backed as the favourite.
Favourite.
Nobody's
go
like
into-
nobody's massive favourites this year though. I don't think.
Yeah,
They
No,
could-
No,
well,
with Real Madrid being out of it, really, like obviously they're not out of the Champions League, but Real Madrid not looking like they're going to win it. It kind of busts it wide open for everyone.
You've
for
got-
the rest of them.
You've got City at 7-2, Barca at 9-2, and then you've got Juve, Bayern, Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG. Like they're the ones coming after.
What's
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid's odds?
Atletico Madrid are 12-1.
It's a little bit outrageous Bayern being up there, considering how poorly they're doing in Germany at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
7 points
Above
behind.
Atletico as well.
Innit?
Yeah.
But
Atletico are a very hard team to beat.
Yeah,
I think, especially in like a two-leg format rather than like a group format, Atletico Madrid would be a horrible team to come up against because like you have to beat them comfortably at your gaff really because when you go to
Yeah, when
Madrid
you go
to play
into
them, like it's like it's you're probably not going to score, let alone get a draw. Do you know what I mean? So it's they're a good team to support over two legs.
Mm.
Who have you got then, Lou?
Well, I was going to say Barca as well, but it's a bit of a.
Well,
I'm
now
not
I've
thought-
said it.
I'm not.
You don't
Yeah,
want to.
pretty much. I just follow you because you know what you're talking about.
Nope.
Nah, it's one of it's like a loose option. I've not really thought too much into it, but I'd like to imagine Barca would get pretty far. So that's
Yeah.
a comfortable.
you're gonna
it's a
back Barca.
comfortable bet,
Ca-
yeah.
With Coutinho, like Barca have got that another kind of outlet now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like for a while now, not a while, but last season, like, wasn't sure what was going on with
Yeah,
Barca. kind
not
of thing.
replacing
it wasn't
Neymar really.
quite
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So I mean, no Neymar and like,
What did they do? Didn't they try and just fit
They
Dembele
got-
in on the
Yeah,
right?
Usman Dembele.
but
and-
Ousmane Dembele got injured straight away, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for like 4 months.
And I mean, trying to replace like Neymar with this like up and coming geezer, like especially
There's a
when they just paid what like 150 million or something.
Big
for him?
Paid a
boots to
lot for
fill,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, they paid a
Big
lot
boots.
for him. They paid
It's
a
not gonna
lot
pay off
for
straight
Usman
away.
Dembele.
No, exactly.
So, but I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. Every time I've
Yeah.
watched him, he's looked really good, and he's so comfortable on both feet. Like,
Yeah, no, that's
I think
a
when you
great
look at,
asset to have as a player.
I think if you look at his goal scoring stats, he's nearly scored the same with his left foot as he has with his right foot. I seen an interview with him once where they were like, "What footed?" and he was like, "I don't know. I just see how I'm feeling when I step up to take a kick." Like,
Yeah, that's
Really?
mad.
which is like always quite a good thing to
That's
have.
like
like.
Santi Cazorla, isn't it? You don't.
If you look here, in comparison to, we may as well spread it out to the Europa League now. But in comparison to odds wise, Galatasaray were the worst odds in the Champions League at 5,000-1. The lowest odds here, you've got FK Karabakh. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're 1,000-1. Everyone else, it's pretty much like 100-1, 80-1. So it's way, way, way more open in the. Like,
Well,
not saying that they're going to win it because they're at 100-1, but you've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Sevilla, and then everyone else after that is 20-1.
I'd say
Or
that
more.
Chelsea would win the Europa
But
League.
you've got to kind of the odds change a lot more when the third place Champions League teams go out. At the minute, Chelsea and Arsenal and Sevilla are probably like by far the best teams in the Europa
yeah,
League.
they look
Whereas
very superior. in
if
that
Napoli
group.
or PSG or someone got knocked in there.
yeah,
True,
it's
you're waiting for
looking
the-
it's looking
it'd
likely
mix
that
it
PSG or Napoli.
You're waiting for the best of the rest, didn't you?
What
Yeah.
I will say though, 5,000-1. I wouldn't bet against it. You know, it's happened
Yeah.
before. Don't know. It happened one season. I don't
We
know.
all know
He's
about
gonna bring
that.
that up,
Anyone
isn't
care
he?
to remind us? Or?
I think they
No, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, Europa League tends to just be someone that gets knocked out of the Champions League. You'd
Yeah,
like to
well,
think.
if PSG get knocked out of the Champions League,
You
they're
can't.
probably going to win the Europa League.
Looking at the
because-
Champions League groups now, you've got in third places, you've got Valencia, Hoffenheim, Benfica, Galatasaray, PSG, Spurs, and then obviously Club Brugge, maybe not so much, but
Spurs
Yeah,
and
did Monaco
PSG,
fall
two
down?
Spurs,
teams that will go in
PSG,
there.
like you've
And then
got
amongst
teams
that Chelsea as well, you know.
That's good though, because you've got a lot of English. We've got a lot of English teams in it. Like I know we might not support Chelsea, Arsenal, or Spurs, but it's
I
nice
do in the Champions League. I
It's
reckon.
it's nice to see a.
Yeah.
It's nice
I'll
to
always
see your
support the
home.
English team. in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Champions
So
League,
it's good to see that.
100%.
Like I like to think Chelsea and Arsenal and Spurs, if they do
Yeah.
end up getting to the
It's like
knockout
when
stages, they'll just.
Kane was like playing against Juve. I was happy to see him like scoring away at Juve and stuff like that, doing well in the
Yeah,
world
of course.
stage.
It's good for English teams as well because, like, since a long time now, it's just kind of gone to the point where it's like all the other leagues do really well in the Champions League, and English
Yeah.
teams like maybe get to the quarters or something if they're lucky.
But that's the
But-
thing, though. Do you know what's mad? Sorry to cut you off there, but if you look at the difference there of Man City playing in the Premier League and Man City playing in the Champions League,
Yeah,
right? Man City are sort of like, you know, the epitome of English football at the moment. Like, they are the best team. They play really well week in, week out, and have like a great system that they play. They need to do it in Europe. Like, they have to, you know, go to
Yeah.
them lengths in
Do you not
Europe
think
because
this is
they're
the
the ones that are going to go like the furthest to like the semi-final and the
Do you not
final.
think this is the
whatever.
season that they could?
I'm not sure if for me the reason why the style doesn't implement as well into the Champions League as it does in the league is because like the fear that the teams in the Premier League have of City. It's like we've played these before and they put 6 goals past us,
Yeah.
so we best be sit really deep now and like defend. Or Leon, for example, they've not seen them. Well, they will have seen it, but they've not really experienced like City absolutely playing like Arsenal's and Chelsea's
So they
and stuff
beat 'em.
off the park.
Leon beat them.
Mm, exactly.
So Leon go into the game
go at
without
them.
any fear. They go into the
Yeah.
game kind of like, we're going to play our game plan, you play your game plan. I'm not sure whether this is definitely the reason why, but for me, I feel like because that fear's not quite there, because they haven't done it in the Champions League yet, because of that, they kind of don't believe in themselves to play as well as they do in the Premier League.
I
Yeah.
wonder what the odds were for like City like last season, because they were still an unbelievable team last season, and I'd imagine they probably weren't odds
Well,
on
they got to
favourites to win.
semis, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd imagine they weren't odds
Lost
on
to Liverpool.
favourites at this stage to win it, but they are now. So like, I wonder how
No
much
Ronaldo
that has
at
to
Madrid.
play. Exactly, this is what I mean. But like, it's like you got to think about the other teams in comparison as well. So like with Ronaldo at Madrid, you're thinking like, I don't know who else is going to win it. But now you've got a couple of like outlying factors that think
Yeah.
maybe City could just go do that one step further.
I hope they do.
Yeah, I'd love
I
an
hope
English
they do.
team to win it. I think it'd be great.
Mm.
I mean, especially it shows how far the Premier League's come. Like Liverpool was signing Ricky Lambert not that long ago. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And now they've got like Van Dijk,
Mm.
probably one of the best centre backs in the world.
Yeah.
Alisson's meant to be one of the best
You
keepers
know,
in the
they're
world.
front
Like,
Well,
three.
you know where it all stemmed from? Leicester winning the league, and
that
I
is
know
actually where it's
it
come
actually
from.
did
Yeah.
because all the top teams like had to look at themselves after that. Like, what are we doing? We just lost to
Mm.
like this team that spent
That is a
nothing.
fully
Wes Morgan.
non-biased point. Yeah.
Like, I know I mentioned Leicester every 5 minutes, but
Nah,
that's
that
actually
is
relevant.
That is a foot. Yeah, it's a
It was
solid
a
point.
turning point for
Mm.
English
Yeah.
football.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were looking around like, what is going on here? Because like for me, I was when Leicester win the league, I was kind of like, what on earth is meant to happen now? Like Leicester going to the Champions League, and it just looks a little bit like. Not stupid, but like, what unnecessarily
Yeah.
are Leicester
Yeah.
going to do? And I mean, they did all right. They got to
Knocked
last
out to
16, didn't you?
Atletico quarters.
In the
Quarters.
quarters.
So
What's
that's
that?
I mean, it's
Two
still sick,
2-1 on aggregate. as well.
Against Atletico as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're a
Technically-
solid team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not only was it a great year, but it sorted out the footy in the Premier League.
Mm.
It's not
Yeah.
too bad.
No problem,
We're,
boys.
we're pretty sick.
Shout us if you need anything again.
Just let us know.
Yeah. I think that about wraps it up for the Premier League predictions. We're going to check back in with them sort of termly throughout the year, and obviously at the end we'll tally up the points and we'll see who's come out on top. Probably not going to be Ted. But in the coming episodes we've got a couple of other things to talk about. We've got a bit of lower league football to delve into. We're going to be touching on women's football and the uprise of that. And we've also got a couple of segments coming in, such as the Bankers Bet Slip. So we're all going to pick an upset of the week. Maybe put some points on offer there so people can grab some more points throughout each week. And we've also got on the clock segment, which can be focusing on some specific teams, maybe specific managers, who we think's going to have a good run, who thinks going to have a bad run. And we're going to see how that goes throughout the season. So, yeah, thanks for listening to the first episode. We'll catch you next week.